When she was librarian at the Buddhist Society in London in the 1970s, there was a man who came in, a very well-dressed, slim, middle-aged man who was there from South Africa. And his work took him around the world, and she got into conversation with him, and he was in London for business, and he said, I often come to London for business, he said, but I find it a city of temptations. He said, because it seems that on every street corner there is a wonderful bakery or patisserie, and the one thing that I have a weakness for are cream cakes, and as you can see, if I'm going to keep my figure, I can't be indulging too much in cream cakes. He says, so I'm leaving tomorrow, and I'm looking forward to going back home because we don't seem to have so many where I am, and I shall be away from this temptation. And again, he was obviously interested in Buddhism as well, so she talked to him a little bit about the fires and said, if you are willing to try an experiment, then let me give you something. She said, when you leave here, go and just walk round until you see a patisserie, and then when you find that your heart is stirred, you see a cake that you particularly like, go to it, go and stand before the cake in other words, the object of desire. Look at it and internally really feel that wanting, feel that desire, and say to yourself, I want that cake. I want that cake. I really want that cake. And she said, when you are inflamed with that desire, close the eyes, drop off the cake, and just go, I want, I want, I want. And she said, and then cut off the I. Want, 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 and go right into that. There's no object now. There is even no I who wants. There's just that complete immersion, like being in, and this is where the analogy of the alchemy comes in. It's like being in a sealed vessel. You've seen those round-bottomed vessels that you get in laboratories, and you imagine that there inside is that fire, and there's a cork firmly stuck in the top that's perhaps covered in wax as well to seal it right in, and that vessel is immensely strong now, and that fire burns, want, burns, want, burns, want, really lifts that. And she said for 5 minutes, she said, if you can put up with the self-consciousness, which is another fire as well, by the way, and really do that, and you're brave enough to do that, and just see what happens, and then open your eyes, and then look at the cake again, and see if that desire is still there. And off he went, and she didn't think he would do it. But half an hour later, he came rushing back and said, it works. I just tried it and it works. I opened my eyes and it was just the cake. That feeling of temptation had completely gone. I'm cured. And she said, no, you are not cured. She said, it will return because the habit is very deeply inlaid. However, she said, the next time that the fires come up, now you have something to work with. Now you can work with them. Now you know how to actually work with them. And what she said was, look, when we start working with the fires, don't imagine that because we've worked with one fire that therefore, it comes to an end. Now I'm no longer being carried off by my temptation to eat too many cream cakes. Of course not, it will come back. But if we religiously work in that way with these fires, then what we find is that there comes a point where the whole thing comes to a head. Almost like a pimple. The pimple, you get a little bit of pus underneath it, and it raises itself up from the skin, and that boil grows, and then it bursts, and all the toxin just comes out.